우리가 지켜온 부산의 소중한 모습들입니다. 이제 부산은 그 이상의 내일을 준비합니다. 첨단을 달리는 에코 델타시티의 일상부터 가덕도 신공항의 하늘길, 그리고 유라시아와 북극을 잇는 북극 항로까지 세계를 향한 거침없는 도약, 그 엔진은 바로 부산 사람입니다.
우리가 부산입니다.
우리가 부산입니다.
우리가 부산입니다.
당신의 자부심이 부산의 미래를 만듭니다. 이 캠페인은 대선공익재단과 부산영어방송이 함께합니다. 모든 지식을 인공지능이 찾아주는 시대. 하지만 정답을 찾는 기술보다 중요한 것은 세상을 새롭게 바라보는 눈입니다. 예술을 경험한다는 것은 익숙한 세상을 새롭게 바라보게 하고, 예술을 교육한다는 것은 인공지능 시대에 맞는 인재를 키우게 합니다. 바다를 품은 자연과 활기찬 도시의 일상이 예술이 되고 영감이 되는 곳. 부산이라는 거대한 도화지 위에서 창의력이 피어나고 상상력이 자라납니다. 예술로 생각이 자라는 도시, 예술도시 부산. 이 캠페인은 창의적 사고로 예술을 키우는 동서대학교 앵커사업단과 부산 영어방송이 함께합니다.
We are the Zero Waste Rangers.
To save Mother Earth, just remember the 5 R's. Would you like a bag for that?
No thanks. I brought my own bag. Number 1, refuse. Just say no to things you do not need.
This shirt is so out of style.
Why not take it to a flea market? Number 2, reduce. Buy only what you need and share with your neighbors.
1 iced Americano coming right up.
Can I get that in my tumbler? Number 3, reuse. Single use, that's not how we do things.
This is such a hassle. Let's just throw it all in together.
You've got to peel off the labels and rinse them out. Number 4, recycle. Rinse it, peel it, and recycle properly.
This looks different from other sponges.
It's a biodegradable loofah. Number 5, rot. Choose a product that returns to nature.
Refuse, reduce,
Reuse, recycle,
and rot. The 5R pledge to protect our planet.
Want to be a friend of BFM Busan 영어 방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산 영어 방송 to your Kakao friends list.
지금 방송 광고라는 부메랑을 던져보세요. 소비자를 향해 정확히 날아가는 광고. 힘차게 돌아가는 경제. 부메랑처럼 다시 기업의 이익으로 되돌아오니까요. 방송 광고, 경제에 큰 힘이 됩니다. 부산 방송광고발전협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Today marks Chobok, the first of the so-called 3 dog days of summer. Here in Korea, they're known as Sambok. This period represents the absolute peak of summer heat. And of course, oh my gosh, lately, the humidity. And as tradition goes, we're expected to eat steaming hot, nutrient-dense soups to restore. And I love this whole idea, this whole, in air quotes, stamina, right? And replace the energy lost due to heavy sweating. So it's the idea behind the whole 이열치열 idea, literally fighting heat with heat. So major question here, are you going to have some 삼계탕 today, or are you going to go in the opposite direction? Maybe head for some 냉면 or 밀면. Or, like many people these days, maybe avoid the 삼계탕 but have some sort of chicken. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Wednesday, July 15th on BEFM, 부산 영어 방송. Good morning, Wavers. It is Wednesday already. Today is 초복 once again. What does that mean? So for many people, it is 삼계탕 day. For other people, it's fried chicken day. So I'm curious, are you going to be partaking in the traditional method of, having the chicken broth, etc., with the 삼계탕? Or are you going to be a little more modern and say, hey, I'm supposed to have chicken, but maybe not in the soup. Anyhow, that is the main story as we kick off Morning Wave in Busan. However, for a text topic, it is completely different because this is very much related to something we're going to talk about later on. So here we go. Are you ready for a text topic? How do you like to spend your alone time? 자, 내가 혼자 있는 시간을 보내는 방법은? Ooh, some people, they love to work out. Other people, they want to go to the theater. 요즘에 극장 가면 너무 시원하잖아요. Because of the AC. I feel like it's included in the price of the ticket. Or other people, they just like to become one with their bed. 자, 그냥, just 눕는 거예요. 침대랑 하나 되는 거예요. That's fine too. So whatever it is that you like to do on your alone time, what do you like to do? I want to hear all about it. 내가 혼자 있는 시간을 보내는 방법. So maybe you can give us some great ideas. Send them into BFM's live stream, live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform and you got to find our channel first. You got to enter BEFM, 부산 영어 방송. Once you find our channel, subscribe, log in, and then chat with our other waivers from your phone, pound 9050, shop 9050. That's going to cost you 100 won. You can reach me for free on Kakao Talk as well. Find our account, enter BEFM, 부산 영어 방송. Once you do find our account, you got to add us as a friend first, and then you can send in your messages and photos too. And the ways you can tune into Morning Wave in Busan, if you're in the Busan area, yes, 90.5 or 103.3 FM. And we are streaming live on YouTube. Come check us out. And we're available on the BEFM app, our own app, or the Papang app. Both are free and easy to download. So it is Hump Day already. Our lineup goes like this. Jian for Now in Busan. That's our local news segment. We also have Haley for Top Stories. In hour number 1, Jennifer's joining me for Work Smart, Live Smart. And then in hour number 2, Food for Thought with Haley and Leon. For our special interview today, we are going to try to understand this, okay? The whole idea of simultaneous heat waves and cold waves. And I don't know, it just feels like we're having more of this extreme weather. I mean, let's talk about the humidity. It's been like insane lately, right? Well, I don't know if our expert's going to be able to answer that question specifically. I'll try to ask him later on. In the meantime, let's turn to Jian for Now in Busan. Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
Yes, it is already. And so, of course, I want to ask you our text topic. Well, first, sidebar.
Okay.
About the whole samgyetang. Are you going to be having samgyetang or maybe some chicken?
I have a question. Have you ever had 닭 한 마리 instead?
What is that like a special type?
Nobody knows?
What is
Come
that?
on. It's
What is
literally 닭 한 마리.
Uh-huh.
It's really similar to 삼계탕, but it is different. And I should definitely try 닭 한 마리 this time.
Can you
this year.
explain? I don't know.
So it's like 삼계탕, but nothing is inside the chicken. But it's also a chicken with some broth.
Really?
And usually we have to have it with 다대기 and some. sometimes
진짜예요?
Yes.
Oh, our engineer. I was like, 지은 씨막 지어내는 거 아니에요?
And people are like,
아니에요?
yeah, of course I've had 닭 한 마리. You mean like it's like 1인 1치킨? I don't know, but yeah. No. 닭 한 마리 is the dish. I want to know if our waivers have tried it though.
Okay, so if you have
Come on,
tried it,
support me.
I've
I need
never
some
tried
support.
it. I mean, usually, like I when my family, you know, they're not really heavily into the samgyetang, so I made it kind of like American style. I make it more like a chicken noodle soup minus the noodles.
I'm pretty sure they would love it. And after you finish the 닭 한 마리, it always have to go with kalguksu. That's the highlight.
The
yes.
kalguksu.
kalguksu.
Oh, that sounds really good.
I prefer 닭 한 마리. 삼계탕
okay.
is too. I mean, the 한방, the ingredients are too strong for me sometimes.
So for anybody, if you have recommendations, you know what to do. Post on our
Yes,
YouTube
please.
channel. Okay, so our text topic, by the way, is what was it again? Oh, what do you do in your alone time? We got into the 닭 한 마리 and then like, oh, sorry. Okay.
Wish I could say I run, I read a book. I don't.
What do you do?
I usually talk to the AI.
Aw. What do you guys talk about?
For strategy for my future, what to do, and when will I finally be able to get married.
I love.
Best color for my
what do I look
tone,
good? Yeah, so
look
what am
good.
I?
New
Yes.
hairstyle recommendation, all of
interesting. Okay, well, we do have to cover some local news. So, all right, we did mention this briefly, but now we have some details. I hear that Princess Anne visited the UN Memorial Cemetery right here in Busan yesterday. So what happened during her visit?
Yes, Princess Anne paid tribute to the service members who lost their lives during the Korean War.
Yes.
She laid a wreath with red poppies alongside her husband, Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence, to honor the service and sacrifice of Commonwealth service members.
Yes, and I hear that she visited maybe some specific graves and honored Victoria Cross recipients. Is that correct?
That's right. She visited the grave of Major Patrick Angier, whose identity was restored after he was originally buried as unknown. She also paid tribute to the recipients of the Victoria Cross, the UK's highest military decoration for bravery.
Yes.
3 of the 4 British-Korean War recipients are buried at the UN Memorial Cemetery in Busan.
Yes, and did Princess Anne have any words during the visit?
She said Korea's development would not have been possible without the sacrifices of British troops. She added that the veterans and those who lost their lives would be proud to see how far Korea has come.
Right, and that is true, not just for the British troops, sacrifice of all the troops that gave their lives, so that is true. Moving on, let's talk about this. Busan's new mayor made his first appearance at the city council. So was that yesterday? How did it go?
There was some political tension as Busan Mayor Chun Jae-soo attended his first council session since taking office. The council is controlled by the opposition, with the People Power Party, PPP, holding a large majority of the seats.
Yes, and what did the opposition have to say?
A PPP lawmaker urged the mayor to maintain policy continuity and avoid spending driven by politics. He also called for balanced city development, saying the administration should not focus too heavily on maritime projects alone.
Well, how did the Democratic Party respond?
A Democratic Party council member stressed the importance of cooperation instead of political conflict. He said Busan's future should come before party politics and called on both sides to work together for the city's residents.
And what did Mayor Chun say?
The mayor said he wants to build a cooperative relationship with the city council. He asked council members to be strong partners and expressed hope that the council would become a place of cooperation.
And what will the council be working on during this session?
So the 15-day session will include reviews of ordinances, resolutions, and other agenda items. Council members will also hear policy reports from the city government and the education office, while several special committees will begin their work.
So thanks for going over what happened. Moving on, police have shared new details about the alleged staged attack involving former Busan mayoral candidate Chung Yi-han. What is the latest on this front?
Police say they're planning to send the case to prosecutors later this week. They believe they've largely established that Chung and his personal trainer worked together to stage the attack, and they're now completing additional financial and legal reviews.
And once again, to review, when did the police first become suspicious?
Police say they first obtained statements related to the alleged staged attack on May 18th, about 2 weeks before the election. Investigators also found phone records showing Chung Yi-han and the trainer had been in contact despite earlier claims that they did not know each other.
Yes, and what are investigators still looking into?
They're analyzing financial records to see whether any money changed hands between the two men. Police are also checking whether anyone else helped plan the incident, although they say they haven't found evidence of organized involvement by a political party.
And here's a question, though. Why didn't the police make the investigation public before the election?
So police say they could not disclose the investigation because the allegations had not yet been proven. They said doing so could have violated laws related to election neutrality and the release of information about criminal investigations.
And will the investigation end once the case is sent to prosecutors?
Not necessarily. Police say some related allegations, including possible election law violations involving people around Chung, will continue to be investigated even after the main case is transferred to prosecutors.
I see. So, of course, we'll await word further on that story. Moving on, Busan is considering a bid for a new domed stadium. What's the plan?
Yes, Busan City plans to take part in the government's competition to build a multi-purpose dome stadium. The facility would be able to host both sports events and large concerts regardless of the weather.
Yes. And why is the government promoting this project?
The idea came after some major international artists skipped Korea because of the venue limitations. The government wants larger, modern indoor venues that can accommodate world-class concerts as well as sporting events.
Yes, and when will the final location be chosen?
The government is expected to launch the competition around September and announce the final sites by next June. One large dome with more than 50,000 seats and one mid-sized dome are expected to be selected.
I see. And if Busan is selected, when could the stadium open?
Well, even if Busan wins the bid, construction is expected to take several years. Under the current timeline, the stadium wouldn't be completed until around 2034, although delays are still possible.
Right. Well, let's take a look at some of the biggest hurdles or challenges.
So one of the biggest issues is funding, since the project is expected to cost several trillion won. The city will also have to address construction challenges and decide what to do with Sajik Baseball Stadium while the new dome is being developed.
I see. Well, thank you for giving us an update on this, plus all the local news. We'll check in with you tomorrow. And thanks for letting us know about the takamari.
Of course, you should definitely try it.
All right. Thank you, Jian.
Thank you.
I'll be back with your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic report. There is a 3-car accident on 고분로 from Yeonsan intersection to Yeonsan Tunnel right near the Yeonil Traditional Market. Please be aware of this. It's congested from Hwangyang Tunnel to Dongso Overpass in the Kaegum direction. Also busy on Gwanmun-daero from Pangnam Tunnel to Baekyang Tunnel. It's slow on Nakdong-namlo from Myeongji Ramp to Cheongyangsa-Ogi intersection. Also slow on Ulsukdo Bridge from the tollgate to Lino-Samsung-daero, the Myeongji Underpass. It is currently 27 degrees Celsius here in Busan under partially cloudy skies. The daytime high will go up to 31 degrees. Busan is under a heat wave advisory and a tropical night advisory as well. Across the nation, once again, today is Chobok, the first of the 3 dog days of summer, so Sambok. The rain that has battered the central region of the country has subsided, with light rain coming down sporadically across the central, Jeonbuk, and Gyeongbuk regions. So please ride carefully this morning. A strong wind advisory is still in effect across the East Coast and parts of the West Coast as well. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for the morning brief. 2027 minimum wage set at 10,700 won. The Minimum Wage Commission yesterday decided to set next year's legal hourly minimum wage at 10,700 won, up 3.7% from this year. Parties clash over ballot recount plan at parliamentary hearing. The Special Parliamentary Committee investigating the June 3rd election ballot shortage held its first hearing yesterday, during which rival parties immediately clashed over plans for a public recount. Government aims to boost country's growth rate to 3%. The Ministry of Finance and Economy yesterday presented the country's economic growth strategy for the second half of the year, seeking to raise a growth rate to 3%, the highest in 5 years. President meets UK's Princess Anne. President Lee Jae-myung yesterday met with Princess Anne at Cheongwadae yesterday once again and told the British princess that South Koreans have been waiting for her visit. Trump withdraws Hormuz tolls threat but continues naval blockade. U.S. President Donald Trump has dropped his proposal to impose a 20% fee on cargo shipped through the Strait of Hormuz, while the U.S. Central Command has resumed strikes against Iran. This was the Morning Brief. Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to hour number 1 of Morning Wave in Busan. It's time for Top Stories. Haley's here. Let's say hi first. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to dive right into our first story. We're going to discuss the ongoing process of lowering the age of a criminal minor.
Right. So this is one of the hot button topics in South Korean society right now. And the government is going to take additional input, taking steps to look into lowering this age of the criminal minor.
Yes.
In Korean, we call that 형사 미성년자. So the government has been in the process of looking into lowering this age from the current 14 to 13, either overall or for some serious or grave crimes.
Right.
And yesterday, the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family reported on the results of its public input process and its own recommendations.
Yes, and what was the public consensus on this?
So this is input from this panel of 212 citizens, and after a full discussion process, those who called for the conditional lowering of the age, so 조건부 하향, before the process, 45.8% agreed to the conditional lowering of the age. That rose a little bit to 46.7%.
Yes.
However, for a full lowering of this age, 일괄 하향, it actually dropped after a discussion process by a whole 7 points from 37 to 30%. And then there was an 11% increase for those who wanted to keep the age as is, 5.7% before the discussion to 17%. Also separate from the citizens panel was a panel comprised of experts. They wanted to take a more cautious approach, meaning essentially to keep the age at 14 as is.
Okay, so with this input now, what is the ministry's conclusion?
The ministry's tentative conclusion as of yesterday was to keep the overall age of criminal prosecution as is at 14. But for serious crimes or repeated crimes, to lower that to 13, meaning that theoretically, in worst cases, 13-year-olds could be punished for up to 15 years in prison. The ministry, though, also proposed setting up a new policy committee to prevent criminal activity by minors, so a preventive process, adding family treatment, family counseling to measures ordered for juveniles, and also to add personnel and infrastructure to such measures.
Yes, but this isn't the final conclusion?
It is not. Actually, the government will hold additional input gathering processes on whether to lower this age as a whole or do so on a conditional basis, as we said. And President Lee Jae-myung, during the cabinet meeting where this briefing took place, said that there is a need to lower this age, but as to the range, meaning by how much and for what specific crimes, that needs to be discussed again. And in the meantime, we need to hear more from the public.
Okay, so I guess we'll be hearing more about this in the near future. Another issue that was addressed at the cabinet meeting was real estate.
So after a briefing on real estate policy and public input, the president pointed to this issue of increasing the burden, including taxes and others, on single homeowners, but those homes that are quite expensive, quite exorbitant.
Yes.
So President Lee actually used the YouTube streaming comments, because this was live streamed online, to take an immediate public poll. He basically asked people to comment number 1 or 2, depending on what people considered as high-end or exorbitant home prices.
And what did people say about this via the comments?
So according to senior aides who were monitoring the comments, they said that most of the comments were in favor of policy that put a heavier burden on expensive homes. They estimated about 90%. Keep in mind, this is kind of a guesstimate, not an official result.
Right.
But as for how much qualified as a very expensive home, a lot of the comments apparently said 3 billion, so 30억 won. And the president joked that, it could be harsh based on the appraisal value. The president also commented that he no longer owns a home, hinting that the apartment he put up for sale a few months ago has been sold or is in the process of being sold. So to that end, the president said that the taxation system is currently quite distorted, saying that this has been the trigger for real estate speculation, and the government's priority is to normalize this process.
Yes. Well, thanks for letting us know what was addressed. Well, I talked about the ballot shortage parliamentary committee meeting in the morning brief. In the meantime, protests are still continuing outside the Olympic handball gymnasium, and one person has been arrested.
She has, and this is the woman in her 40s who spat on, allegedly, and cursed at a police officer during one of the protests. So Seoul Dongbu Regional Court last week indicted the woman under detention for obstruction of justice charges, but the news just came out recently. So she also faces charges of allegedly filming a police officer without their permission and spitting on the said officer, allegedly, while calling for personal information of Chinese nationals to be investigated. She was arrested on the spot the day of. The police requested a warrant, which was approved last month. So this is actually the first detention that's been made in the police investigation linked to the ongoing protests at the handball station.
Yes.
But she isn't showing signs of letting down, because even on the day of her warrant hearing, she chanted election fraud and claimed that the police allegedly assaulted her and that she'll release the evidence. And the first trial begins on July 21st.
Okay. Well, moving on, the presidential office will begin its 9-day public briefing starting today, right?
Right. So the cabinet meeting was live streamed yesterday, but President Lee Jae-myung will receive public briefings from a handful of ministries starting today. So this is the second ever public briefing. The first one took place at the end of last year.
Yes.
And the rounds that are beginning today are meant to check up on whether the issues that were discussed last year are being thoroughly followed up on and being executed. So on the list are 140 public institutions charged with projects that affect the people's lives, including the Office of the Government Coordination and 19 ministries with 18 agencies and more. So that handful may have been an understatement.
Yes. Well, let's go through the schedule.
So today, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, is the Ministry of Finance and Economy, along with the National Tax Service and the Customs Service. Also, the Ministry of Data and Statistics, as well as the Financial Services Commission. So we're going to be talking about money this morning. Tomorrow morning is the Ministry of Science and ICT, the Korea Media and Communications Commission, and the Personal Information Protection Commission. So kind of focusing on the tech aspects of things, followed by the Land Ministry, the Agriculture Ministry, Oceans and Fisheries Ministry, and the Health and Welfare Ministry, along with the Food and Drug Safety Ministry, Gender Equality and Family, along with the Anti-Corruption Commission. So that wraps up the sessions for this week. Other ministries and departments will hold their briefings early August. There are also going to be about 200 members of the public in attendance in total, around 20 per session.
Yes, all right. Well, now we're going to switch gears and talk about this ongoing heat wave that has been battering the country. And we often say it's not the heat, but the humidity that makes the weather insufferable. And I need to ask, is this scientifically true?
It is absolutely scientifically true. So the temperature feels hotter and more insufferable,
Yes.
right? Because of the high humidity. And experts say that the humid heat wave not only raises the real field temperature during the day, but it contributes to these tropical nights.
Yes, so let's talk about the science behind this humidity and basically how we feel the heat.
So according to the Korea Meteorological Administration, the KMA, the humidity in Busan, also Chuncheon and Yeosu, exceeded 70% earlier this week. I also saw it at 90% at one point, so overall over 70%.
Yes.
So what that means is that the air is holding 70% of its maximum capacity of water or mist, 수증기. So for people and the temperature that we feel, the threshold starts at 55% of humidity, but for every 10% increase in humidity, the real field temperature, 체감온도, goes up by 1 degree Celsius. So if the actual temperature is 35 degrees, but the humidity is 75%, then that real field temperature can go up to 37.
Ooh, okay, so that's uncomfortable. And why is this, though?
Because we sweat, or we're supposed to, and that helps. Sweating is good,
Yes.
at least, to cool off. Humans sweat to control our body temperature. But when the humidity level is high, the sweat does not evaporate, basically creating this sauna around your body.
And you said this also affects tropical nights?
Because that's what we saw in the country earlier this week. So tropical nights, 열대야, would refer to this when nighttime temperatures do not fall below 25 degrees Celsius. So the high humidity not only holds the air around your body, but just the air, period. It holds the heat during the night, making it hard for the air to cool off, basically acting as a blanket that kind of traps the heat in the city.
Ooh, yes. And so why has it been so humid recently?
So twofold. So warmer ocean temperatures plus the recent rainy season.
Sure.
So they both create evaporation into the air. Therefore, there's just more mist and higher humidity.
Right.
Not only that, ocean temperatures are expected to stay high and even maybe go up higher. So humidity could go up accordingly.
Right. So we not only get like it being really hot and humid, but it seems like the heat is coming earlier.
Absolutely, because today is the start of that 삼복더위, the 3 dog days of summer, but it's been hot for how long? The entire month of July, I want to say. So at least for a couple of weeks. And
Yes.
even going back to last year, heat-related illnesses reports spiked in July as opposed to it usually does in August.
Right.
So according to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency, the KDCA statistics, of the 4,460 heat-related illnesses reported last year, 40% came from the capital area plus Gangwon. Here, 11 people died in the area, accounting for almost 38% of all suspected heat-related deaths.
Yes.
So not only that, it was unique last year because 64% of the cases were reported in July. Because usually the pattern in Korea is that we see the heat wave coming down late July. That's why we have that 7말 8초, late July, early August vacation period,
Right.
making August usually the hottest month. But last year, that heat came down about a month earlier. Almost 30% of the cases were linked to outdoor work as well as the elderly, so please keep that in mind. And the most dangerous time was, of course, from noon, but also until 5 p.m. for all 4 cities and provinces.
Yes, and speaking of heat-related risks, Europe is looking at as many as 10,000 excess deaths from the heat wave.
This is incredibly unfortunate as countries in Europe have reported over 10,000 excess deaths during the extreme heat waves last June. So the European Mortality Monitor data showed that the vast majority of the fatalities were among seniors, 65 or older.
Okay.
So these European heat waves have seen record temperatures breaking in several countries, thousands of excess deaths reported. And we're looking at countries like Belgium, Britain, France, Spain. At least 2,700 people died in England and Wales as a result of the heat wave. The UK and most of Europe are experiencing two unprecedented heat waves, or they did in May and June. And the monthly records have been set at 35 degrees and 37.7 degrees, respectively, in England.
Wow, even in England. All right. So we're going to move on to the U.S., where there has been another ICE shooting. So can you explain?
So a Colombian national, has been killed by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, agents in the state of Maine. So this incident took place in Biddeford, Maine on Monday morning local time. And according to the local attorney general's statement, initial statements indicate an enforcement removal operations. An officer was conducting an enforcement operation related to a final order to remove this individual when the subject attempted to run away in a vehicle and was fatally shot.
Yes.
However, apparently, this was not the person that they were looking for.
Yes, but this follows an earlier fatal incident.
So last week, ICE agents shot a Mexican national at a traffic spot this time in Texas. Again, actually, this person wasn't the intended target of that operation. The victim this time around was an undocumented immigrant, but no criminal record, and according to his family, he was close to obtaining a work permit. Officers said that he attempted to evade arrest, and in both of the cases that they allegedly tried to weaponize their vehicle, alluding that the drivers were trying to run into the officers. However, no body cam was worn at the time, so there's at least no evidence of this.
All right. We're going to end with some updates from the U.S.-Iran situation. What's happening?
So yesterday, we ended the day with President Donald Trump announcing this 20% fee on protecting ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
As you said, though, he has gone back on it, saying that the toll would be replaced by massive trade and investment deals with the Gulf states. Apparently, this came about after he received numerous calls from Gulf leaders. And later on in the day, President Trump said he does not like the concept of a fee, but that it's also not fair that the U.S. is protecting the strait for the entire world.
Yes, but hostilities between the U.S. and Iran, they continue.
They do. So the U.S. has also begun launching additional strikes on Iran. This is according to the U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM. So as of 3 p.m. Eastern Time, that would be 4 o'clock Korean time in the morning, additional round of strikes against Iran began, according to CENTCOM, to continue degrading Iranian capabilities used to attack the Strait of Hormuz.
Right.
Also, CENTCOM announced a naval blockade of Iranian ports and coastal areas to go into effect an hour later, so that'd be 5 o'clock in the morning, Korea time. Tehran also continuing strikes against U.S. military facilities in Bahrain and Jordan after hitting 2 UAE targets.
Yes.
So meanwhile, with all of this activity going on, shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has slowed to a 2-month low.
Well, thanks for going over all the top stories. For now, we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right, we're ready for a song break, so here it is. This is a song request from Haley, So Sick by Neo, because apparently today's date is mentioned in the song. Let's take a listen.
Change my answering machine now that I'm alone, 'cause right now it says that we can't come to the phone, and I know it makes no sense 'cause you walked out the door, but it's the only way I hear your voice anymore. It's ridiculous. It's been months, and for some reason I just can't get over it, and I'm stronger than this. Enough is enough. No more walking around with my head down. I'm so over being blue, crying over you. And I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears, so done with wishing you were still here. Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow. So why can't I turn off the radio? Gotta fix that calendar I had. Let's mark July 15th, because since there's no more you, there's no more anniversary. I'm so fed up with my thoughts of you and your memory, and how every song reminds me of what used to be. That's the reason I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears, so done with wishing you are still here. Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow. So why can't I turn off the radio? Oh, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh, love song. Hey, don't make me think about her smile or having my first child. I'm letting go, turning off the radio, 'cause I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears, so done with wishing she was still here. Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow. So why can't I turn off the radio? Why can't I turn off? Then I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears, so done with wishing she was still here. Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow. Why can't I turn off the radio? Why can't I turn off the radio? And I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears, so done with wishing you are still here. Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow. So why can't I turn off the radio? Why can't I turn off the radio? Why can't I turn off the radio?
Traffic is so bad. Let's see what's on the radio.
Get the latest news and current issues that you need here on Morning Wave in Busan. You're now listening to Morning Wave in Busan with me, Catherine. Welcome back, everybody. So I took a little peek at some of your messages this morning. There was a mixture between the whole, it's 초복, meaning the first of the 3 dog days of summer. But our text topic was actually, how do you like to spend your time alone? What do you like to do when you're on your own? So there's a mixture of messages. Some people are very happy that it is a 초복 and they're talking about what they're going to have. Other people, though, they have responded to the text topic. And for example, 녹색 마음 녹구님 says, I usually watch 너튜브, I guess, in their free time. And other people chiming in. Benny says also, I guess it's very popular, watching YouTube in your free time. And he also likes eating. 혼밥. That's pretty good too as well. What about 고수님? 저는 혼자 있는 시간에 소파에 앉아서 교양 있게 책을 고르고 읽고 싶지만 그와 반대로 집안일 중에 해야 할 일을 생각합니다. I don't know what that means exactly because he says, of course, like the image of being all cultured and reading and all that. But on the flip side, he thinks about the household chores he needs to do. So I don't know if that parlays into doing. Anyhow, thanks for sharing your thoughts. We're now going to turn to Jennifer to see what she's thinking as well before we dive into our segment. Let's say hi first. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning.
Well, our text topic is this, of course. How do you like to spend your alone time? What do you like to do?
I love taking a long walk.
Oh.
And trying new cafes.
On your own?
Yeah.
Ooh, and so have you found any good ones? Good cafes?
Oh.
Without giving the name.
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh, well, I cannot just pick one, but there are several, and there are always new cafes.
I mean, everywhere.
Popping up everywhere, right?
But I love the fact that all these new cafes, big and small, that they always have a different aesthetic. They're not always the same.
And I make sure I always go to these private cafes, not the big,
the big ones.
Yes,
the gargantuan ones.
Yeah, it's so humid outside.
It is. So yeah, we're gonna have to just kind of get through it on this Wednesday morning.
We'll do.
What are we gonna talk about for Work Smart, Live Smart today?
Okay, I want to talk talk about a topic that is arguably the biggest financial shadow hanging over almost every working professional.
Ooh, what is it?
We are talking about retirement preparedness, or
Dun,
more
dun, dun.
specifically,
Yes.
what experts now call it longevity risk.
That makes it sound so like negative.
I
Longevity
know.
risk. Like, don't you want to live long and prosper? But there's a risk now? Okay. So that sounds a bit paradoxical historically.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
living a long life once again, it was viewed as kind of like a blessing, a milestone to celebrate. But once
Not
again,
always.
why is it called a risk? I don't like that.
It becomes a risk when our life expectancy outpaces our accumulated wealth. So thanks to modern medicine, living well into our 80s, 90s, or even 100 is becoming a norm, the norm. But if you retire at 60 and haven't prepared properly, you are looking at like 20, 30, or 40 years of living without a steady corporate paycheck.
That's true.
In that scenario, unfortunately, a long life is no longer a blessing. It becomes a prolonged financial and psychological burden.
Yes, yes. And, you know, it is harsh, the reality, but it is a necessary reality check. So when we look, around the world, some countries seem to have kind of solved this puzzle, dilemma, much better than others. For instance, Nordic countries are famous for their high quality of senior life. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. And Nordic nations like Denmark, Sweden, and Norway consistently rank at the top for retirement security. But we must remember that their secret isn't magic. It's built on an extremely high-tax, high welfare model.
Yes.
I mean, citizens pay significantly higher taxes throughout their working lives. But in return, the state guarantees a robust public pension, comprehensive health care, and long-term senior care.
Right.
They essentially outsource their retirement anxiety to a reliable government system.
Right. That's a great point that you make because, very high tax, like much higher than many countries. It does sound like an ideal safety net, but when we look at our reality here, the system feels very different.
Yeah.
And we're facing an incredibly rapidly aging population. But when we think about our public infrastructure to support this massive demographic, it does feel like many of us may be vulnerable.
Oh, yeah, you're spot on. We are experiencing the fastest population aging in modern history.
Yes.
Meaning our public pension models and social safety nets are under immense structural pressure.
Yes.
But the problem is much more than just the system. Culturally, a massive portion of a professional's lifetime earnings is spent on their children. Specifically on high private education costs, university tuition fee, and even helping them buy a home. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Right. So this is like the classic family trap that so many middle-aged workers fall into because it's almost a given, at least here in Korea, parents sacrificing their own future financial security, maybe partially, sometimes entirely, to give their children a competitive edge, and they pour basically everything, including, just like yongkeun from everything, so they can pour it into their kids, and sometimes adult kids. They're present, leaving their future retirement accounts like almost empty.
Yeah, I know. Like they want. Like all parents want the best for their children, right? And but I think it's sometimes it's too much. And historically, there was an unwritten social contract that justified that sacrifice. The traditional expectation was that parents invest heavily in their children.
Yes.
And in return, those children would support their parents in their old age. But today, that social contract is rapidly fading.
I feel like it's a one-way street.
Yeah.
Right? 짝사랑이에요. Because the mindset, it has shifted dramatically. Young adults today, they face their own really realistic, brutal sometimes economic realities because we have the sky-high housing prices, job insecurity, and inflation. And sometimes they just don't have enough like financial surplus or the cultural expectation to support an aging parent for not just like a couple years. I mean, we're talking decades. People are living long.
Yeah, we cannot expect the same. The younger generation doesn't have the capacity. And honestly, modern parents don't want to become a financial burden to their kids either.
Right.
So we have a generation of workers retiring right now who spend all their money on their children, cannot expect support from their children, and are facing a multi-decade retirement without a safety net.
Right. It is basically a perfect storm and not in a good way. So when you break it down like that, it is very easy to see why professionals avoid thinking about retirement because it feels overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But from a practical standpoint, how should individuals start building their own financial firewalls?
Yeah, we can only do our best. The very first step is a psychological shift. You must separate your love for your children from your financial boundaries. Over investing in your child's education at the expense of your retirement is actually doing them a disservice in the long run. The greatest financial gift you can give your children is ensuring that you are financially self-sufficient in your senior years.
But I think it's so tough that reframing, it's necessary, but it's tough, like setting those boundaries, especially for things like education. And then after that, what comes after that? Wedding expenses, right? But we have to reframe it as saying like, it isn't being selfish, right? It's being responsible for not just, your kids' future, but also your own future.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's the next strategy?
The second strategy is redefining the concept of retirement itself.
Yes.
We need to transition from a two-way life where you work, study, and then suddenly stop working completely to a multi-stage life.
Okay.
True retirement preparedness today means focusing on lifelong employability. It's about cultivating skills, certifications, or niche expertise in your 40s and 50s that will allow you to generate even a modest, steady cash flow well into your 70s.
Right.
It's not about working a high-stress corporate job forever. It's not like slaving to your company.
Right.
It's about maintaining active, meaningful economic engagement.
And, even having a small monthly cash flow from a secondary career drastically reduces the amount of capital you need to save in your main retirement fund. And I also think, though, it kind of keeps you mentally sharp and socially connected.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. And that brings up another critical dimension of the longevity risk that people often overlook: the gap between lifespan and health span. Lifespan is how long you live, but health span is how long you live healthy and independent. In many aging societies, including Korea, people spend their last 10 to 15 years battling chronic illnesses.
Yes.
And if you don't invest in your physical health during your peak working years, your entire retirement fund can easily be wiped out by late age medical bills.
Oh, that's so true. This
so
is
sad.
It's an important point because, when we map out our retirement, purely we maybe calculate living expenses, like food and housing, and then we forget about calculating healthcare because you think, well, I have insurance. I have the extra insurance as well.
And people
but
believe that they are going to stay healthy forever.
It's a misnomer, yes. Yeah. Right. So investing in a healthy lifestyle now, that's actually a really great point because that does connect directly with our future, right?
No, yeah. It prevents what economists call medical bankruptcy in old age.
Right.
But along with physical health, there is an emotional bankruptcy that happens when professionals retire. For decades, our identity is completely tied to our corporate titles.
Oh, yes.
Manager, director, vice president. When we retire and that title disappears overnight, many people experience a profound identity crisis and depression.
Yes, and we see that around us all the time. Yeah. People who were once so vibrant and so active and so sharp, they suddenly kind of look lost.
I know.
Because like their entire social circle and sense of purpose, maybe it was so heavily invested in their work. And then once like that is gone, it's like they don't know what to do, right?
I mean, I witnessed it myself with my dad. You know, when he retired, he became a completely different person. You know? So that's why, like, true retirement planning requires building a social portfolio alongside your financial portfolio.
Okay.
You need to diversify your identity before you retire. This means cultivating interests, communities, and networks outside of your main industry.
Sure.
Whether it's volunteering, local mentoring, or joining a hobby group, you need spaces where where you are valued for who you are, not just what your corporate title is.
And you know, especially here in Korea, like, you know, with every promotion, it's like there's such an emphasis on the title.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
So I love that phrase though, social portfolio. So it's not just about, you know, your title. When you retire or step away from your job, you're not stepping into kind of this void, this abyss where you can transition though, right?
Oh yeah, and then one more thing, like we need to spend more time with our family. Like,
do we really? I'm just kidding.
Yes, because after you retire and you suddenly want to go back to your family and spend time with them, they're not going to be there for you. You know?
They're going to be like, where were you when I needed you?
Exactly. Right. And so active aging is the best defense against both financial ruin and cognitive decline. But individual efforts aren't enough. On a macro level, our social systems need to evolve as well.
Yes. And so what kind of systemic changes do you think are most urgent?
We desperately need sustainable reforms to our national pension systems to ensure long-term solvency. But beyond just cash payouts, the states need to build the infrastructure for senior reemployment. Right now, options for seniors are often limited to structural or temporary roles.
True.
Leaving a huge gap for professional placement. We need national matching platforms and retaining programs that utilize the immense corporate wisdom, admin skills, and professional experience of retiring white-collar workers.
Yes. I mean, instead of treating an aging population as just a burden, or a drain, we should be treating them as valuable, experienced economic assets because eventually you and I, we're all going to get there.
I know.
So sad, but it's true. Yes.
That's right. So longevity should be a triumph of human civilization, not a financial crisis. But achieving that requires us to face the numbers honestly, set strict boundaries today, and plan for a multi-stage career.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for bringing us sometimes an uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah, it can be,
but it's much needed. So I do appreciate
because
that.
we don't want to think about it, right?
But we have to. We definitely have
it's
to.
Unavoidable.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Have a beautiful week. Try to stay cool.
Yeah.
And we'll check in with you
next week. Bye-bye.
Everybody, this was Jennifer, and it's time to wrap up hour number 1 already. So how about this one? Last Night on Earth by Green Day, and I'll be back at 8.
I text a postcard sent to you. Did it go through? Sending all my love to you.
Hi, this is Catherine. Can you hear me, Professor? Can you turn your mic on, please?
Yep, I gotcha.
Okay, great. So I want to confirm that you're Professor Lucas Vargas Zapatello. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, and can you do me a favor and can you turn off the video tracking? Is that going to be okay? The face auto tracking?
I was trying to. Do you know how to do it?
If you go to video effects, I believe.
Yeah, I was trying to figure this out because it's really annoying.
So,
I'm in video effects.
And then let's see. Hold on a second. Turn off the center stage. If you're using an iPad or Mac. Are you using a desktop or PC, or what are you using?
A laptop, yeah.
There's an auto frame tracking button that I think you need to turn off.
So I have it off.
Oh, you have it off, but it's still tracking you?
Yeah. Let me.
Can we click on it to see if it does the opposite?
Yeah, I just tried that. It didn't seem to work. So there's. Yeah. So now I have it on. Now I have it off, and it's doing it.
It's still doing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the only thing we can hope for at this point, I think, is if you sit back and try not to move as much as possible.
I'll try to stay still. Yeah.
I know that's going to be really tough. If you can sit away from the camera a tad more, we're getting the optics straight right now.
So annoying.
Okay, so we don't know what's going on. So I guess, PD님, what do we do? Go with it? Okay. I think this is the best we can do for now. We'll try to look up the logistics, but I think for now, this is how we're going to have to go with it. So what's going to happen is I have a short news segment at the top of the hour in 1 minute, and then it's a 4-minute news segment, and then we're going to go straight to you. So if you can mute your mic for now, and then our producer, she's going to let you know when to unmute your mic right before the interview. You can check your Zoom chat box, okay?
You'll hit me on chat when it's time to
Yes.
talk, basically. Okay.
Okay, gotta go. Thank you.
Yep.
공익광고협의회
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for 8 o'clock Spotlight News. 2027 minimum wage set at 10,700 won. The Minimum Wage Commission yesterday decided to set next year's legal hourly minimum wage at 10,700 won, up 3.7% from this year. The commission last night put the final figure to a vote after the labor and management sides failed to narrow the gap between their final proposals of 10,730 and 10,701 respectively, ultimately choosing the management's proposal. The panel will submit the final figure to the Ministry of Employment and Labor, which will confirm and announce the figure by August 5th. Parties clash over ballot recount plan at parliamentary hearing. The Special Parliamentary Committee investigating the June 3rd election ballot shortage held its first hearing yesterday, during which rival parties immediately clashed over plans for a public recount. Members of the opposition People Power Party proposed a special counsel probe in parallel with a public recount of the 2.47 million ballots, while the ruling Democratic Party called for an immediate recount. Former National Election Commission Chair Do Tae-ak appeared at the hearing and again acknowledged and apologized for the institution's problems. Government aims to boost country's growth rate to 3%. The Ministry of Finance and Economy yesterday presented the country's economic growth strategy for the second half of the year, seeking to raise the growth rate to 3%, the highest in 5 years. The government is aiming to use the tripolar mega projects to boost the country's global competitiveness and to create new momentum for non-capital regions. President Lee Jae-myung also urged all-out efforts to stabilize prices and the property market while fostering game-changing growth engines during yesterday's cabinet meeting. President meets UK's Princess Anne. President Lee Jae-myung met with Princess Anne at Cheongwadae yesterday and told the British princess that South Koreans have been waiting for her visit. Princess Anne, the only daughter of the late Queen Elizabeth II and sister of King Charles III, is visiting South Korea on a 3-day trip to promote collaboration between South Korea and Britain. Earlier in the day, Princess Anne visited HD Hyundai Heavy Industries shipyard in Ulsan and paid respects at the United Nations Memorial Cemetery in Busan. Trump withdraws Hormuz tolls threat but continues naval blockade. U.S. President Donald Trump has dropped his proposal to impose a 20% fee on cargo shipped through the Strait of Hormuz, while the U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM, has resumed strikes against Iran. Trump wrote on social media that the toll will be replaced with trade and investment deals with Middle Eastern countries. CENTCOM said that the naval blockade of Iranian ports resumed starting at 4 p.m. Eastern Time and said that it has deployed more than 20 warships and hundreds of military aircraft operating across the Middle East for the blockade. This is Light News. It's time for a special interview. You know, in recent weeks, we have seen extreme weather making headlines, not just here in Korea, but across the globe. Europe has endured a deadly heat wave linked to more than 10,000 excess deaths, while a powerful heat dome has sent temperatures soaring across parts of the United States. Elsewhere, heavy rain and flooding have affected parts of Asia, and unusually cold Antarctic air has brought a sharp chill to parts of Argentina. Today, we're looking at what's driving these, what we see as extreme weather events, and what they mean for our changing climate. Joining us today is Professor Lucas Vargas Zapatello, Assistant Professor in the Department of Environmental Science, Policy, and Management, leading the Plant Land Atmospheric Climate Exchange, or PLACE, at the University of California, Berkeley. Hi, welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
Yes, well, you know, it really does feel like extreme weather has been making headlines all around the world almost every week. And we're actually seeing more extreme weather than before. So is this a misnomer? Are we just imagining it, or is this really true?
No, particularly with heat waves. It's definitely the case that heat waves are increasing both in magnitude and in sort of duration as the climate continues to warm. So what we're seeing right now is a consistent pattern of increasing heat extremes all over the world. So I would say this is largely consistent with the expectations from climate change. There is one way to think about it where the anomaly relative to the mean temperature isn't necessarily increasing. That's not even true in some places, but in general, if you just think about how many more times per year you expect to exceed a particular threshold, those events are getting more and more common every year when the climate changes. So it's not your imagination. This is definitely a real phenomenon, as is the overall decline in cold waves, despite what's happening right now in Argentina.
Thanks for letting us know that it's not in our minds. We're not just imagining it. But we are going to begin with Europe because the recent heat wave has been especially deadly. Why has Europe been experiencing such intense heat? Not just this year, but it does seem like we talk about it. We've been talking about it at least for the past few years.
Yeah, so there's a couple reasons why Europe might be especially prone to these events. The first is actually the proximity to the Sahara Desert. So one of the features of climate change is that dry places like deserts warm disproportionately more than places that have a lot of water, like a tropical rainforest or somewhere like that. And if you think about the atmosphere as a mixing machine, sort of you're more likely to get these sort of injections of extremely warm air into a place like Europe just because it's closer to a desert that's so much warmer. The second reason is the increased sort of likelihood of these heat dome phenomena, which is a little bit less well understood, but seems to be a feature of summertime climate as we're moving forward into a warmer world. So I would say the main reason is the proximity to the Sahara Desert, which is warming much more rapidly than most of the rest of the world. And then there's this increases in heat domes. It's a little bit mysterious and is definitely something that we're trying to investigate.
Right. Well, speaking of heat domes, much of the U.S. has been under this so-called heat dome. Can you explain what this is in layperson's terms and why it can lead to dangerous temperatures?
Yeah, so a heat dome is essentially a high-pressure system that sits over and just kind of parks itself over a particular place in space for anywhere between 5 days and 2 weeks. What the meaningful impact of a high pressure system is that you suppress cloud cover, so you'll have generally clear skies. And the other part of this is that you have a large scale downward motion in the atmosphere, which essentially means that you're trapping all of the energy from the incoming solar radiation near the land surface. So you've got this buildup of energy very close to the land surface, which is what can make the temperatures so high underneath the heat dome. So a heat dome is actually one of those sort of scientific names for something that's actually quite accurate, because it essentially acts just like a cap on top of the atmosphere that keeps energy inside and keeps the temperatures very warm.
Right. So we've talked about heat in Europe, heat dome in the U.S. However, there's been severe flooding in China, and it seems like a very unusual cold wave in Argentina, like I said in the intro. So when you look at all of these events together, do scientists or experts see any larger patterns?
Yeah. So the connection between the heat waves and the flooding comes down to our expectations around climate change. So in general, we expect to see more heat waves and more extreme precipitation in a warmer world. And there's really strong physical reasons for that. That basically just boil down to the changes in the mean temperature. So as we expect, the mean temperature to go up, we expect our heat waves to increase in severity, and we expect the most extreme rainfall events to become more severe. The cold spells are a little bit more complicated. Overall, the global trend has been towards much fewer cold spells. But what's interesting, at least to me, is that we do seem to be seeing these events where filaments of air from places that are very far away, so Antarctica is very far away from Argentina, even though they may look close on a map, getting air from Antarctica to Argentina is no easy matter. And it does seem like there's been a slight increase in these kinds of events where bits of air from places where they have no business being end up in places very far away, translating across much of the whole world. And these particular weather systems, I think, are fascinating. And the relationship between those and climate change is a little bit unclear to me. So there's some very fundamental reasons why we should expect more heat waves, more extreme rainfall. That's pretty much settled science. Some of these very anomalous sort of storm systems that bring both anomalously cold and anomalously warm air to places in the world that are unprecedented is a little bit more mysterious. And there's been another example. I was actually a grad student in Seattle during the 2021 event, which was completely unprecedented. And it was a system very similar where basically tropical air made its way all the way up to, 50 degrees north where Seattle is. So these are a bit mysterious and definitely require us to learn a little bit more about these atmospheric motions.
Yes, and here in South Korea, we experience a very unusual start to this year's monsoon season, the rainy season arriving later than expected. So could large-scale climate patterns like El Nino that we hear about, every couple of years influence seasonal weather patterns, such as what's been happening on the Korean Peninsula, or are they unrelated?
Absolutely. Yeah. El Nino is in climate science world, we refer to it as the biggest mode of climate variability. And it really does have global ramifications. So if you look at if you put El Nino into Google or something like this, you'll find a picture of the Pacific Ocean with usually a warm temperature anomaly. That's sort of the canonical El Nino phenomena. But the impacts of El Nino are global in scale. And that's because you can think of it a bit like if you throw a pebble into a lake, the waves from that pebble will radiate out. Putting a potentially 1 or 2 degrees Celsius temperature anomaly in the tropical Pacific has global consequences and could definitely modify seasonal rainfall in South Korea and places even further away from the tropical Pacific. So it's not surprising at all that in an anomalous El Nino year, you'll see patterns of weather across the world that are very, very different from what you normally expect.
Well, I'm curious, Professor. We've talked about things like, the heat dome, flooding, cold spells, and even the effects of El Nino on the peninsula. But what type of extreme weather worries scientists the most right now, and why?
That's a good question. It depends on who you ask. I would say that the things that we know best about, like I mentioned before, are the rainfall, the extreme rainfall, and the increases in severity and duration of heat waves. These are things that are definitely worrying to me, particularly as large populations throughout the tropics are subjected to events that don't have a historical precedent. I think that's a real concern for me because we just don't know what happens when large populations of people, some of whom have very little adaptive capacity or financial resources, are exposed to really dangerous combinations of temperature and humidity. That is something that I find extremely troublesome. And then the only other thing I'll add is that the type of thing that really worries me is not necessarily what we do know, but what we don't know. And I think the events like you're mentioning, this cold wave in Argentina, the Pacific Northwest heat wave that really did come out of nowhere, not just in a physical sense, but in a statistical sense as well. I mean, these could not have been predicted in advance. And I think the thing that really worries me is are we, hurtling towards a place where completely unprecedented events have the potential to catch us unprepared. That is definitely something that worries me. Not necessarily what we do know, but what we don't.
And as we wrap up our discussion today, what is one thing you wish more people understood about extreme weather?
That's a great question. The thing I wish more people understood about extreme weather is that weather has always been extreme. And I think, there's a real, you can look through any historical record and you will find how extreme weather has, changed people's lives and changed the course of history. So I think there's a misconception that extreme weather begins and ends with climate change. And, obviously I'm just talking about how this stuff is all connected, but I think that can be a little bit disempowering. And I think people should realize that extreme weather is going to be with us no matter what happens with the global climate. And that means that there's lots of stuff that we can do to make people's lives better and make our communities more resilient to all sorts of extreme weather, where you're talking about heat waves or flooding or cold waves or anything like this. So I think people should understand that there's always going to be extreme weather no matter what climate state we're in, and that we should always be prepared for different kinds of extreme weather and take the appropriate steps independently of climate change. I think that's a really important thing to recognize.
Well, thank you so much for answering all of our questions. It was a pleasure speaking to you, wishing you a great summer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Take care.
This was once again Professor Lucas Vargas Zapatello, and we talked about these extreme weather events going on, the heat waves, the heat dome, the cold wave, and yes, even for us, an unusual start to this year's rainy season. That was your special interview. I'll be back with your updated traffic and weather. Here's your updated traffic report. There was an accident on the Namhae Expressway, the first lane going toward Changwon on the Dongmasan ramp. It's been taken care of, but there is backup because of this. It's congested on Mandok-daero from Mandok intersection to Namsanjeong Station. Busy also on Pyeonglo from Daeyeon ramp to Gwangan Tunnel. It's also slow on Puam Overpass from Yeonji 3-way intersection to Jinyang intersection. Currently, it's 28 degrees Celsius here in Busan under partially cloudy skies. It's going to go up to 31. Busan is under a heat wave advisory and a tropical night advisory as well. Across the nation, once again, it is Chobok, the first of the 3 dog days of summer. The rain has battered the central region of the country. That has subsided, with light rain coming down sporadically across the central, Jeonbuk, and Gyeongbuk region, so please drive carefully. The strong wind advisory is still in effect across the East Coast and also parts of the West Coast. This was your traffic and weather. And this is Bumpa by BB.
저기 불어오는 바닷바람이 파도를 만들어 춤추게 하듯 You got me dancing 바일라 바람이 Give it to me papi yeah yeah 춤을 춰 yeah Dancing like no mañana Summertime summertime yeah 기집애들이 뻐 Pop the bottle of face down 너와 난 조금 바보 Keep the bass up face down 부딪혀 나의 bumper
All right, everybody, it is time for Food for Thought. 이분들은 있었네요. Guess who's here? We have Haley, Leon, yay!
Morning.
Good morning.
Yes. So we are so excited to get into Food for Thought. And for those of you who are new to the show, this is a segment where we have more time to talk, have lively discussion about some really interesting issues. And so today we're going to actually turn to Leon first. So
Yes.
let's talk about what you've brought us.
Hi everyone.
Yes.
Hi.
This is Leon.
Yes, this is me. Today I want to talk about the loneliness crisis that specifically the Gen Z is going through. But first off, I want to ask you guys, even though we're not all Gen Z, still,
None of us are.
None of us are. Yeah.
We're very super connected these days, right? Through SNS or Kakao or whatnot. But do you guys feel more lonely these days compared to, I don't know, like back in those days when we weren't so connected?
I want to be lonely. Sorry.
I'm asking the wrong person.
Yes,
You want to be alone.
Yeah.
I think, there are more moments where I am around people, but then we're also isolated. We're just also like,
Yes.
And definitely in those cases, I'm like, well, like, what's the point? Like,
And
why
do
are we
you?
here?
I have a question. Do you tell people like, okay, come on, let's put down our phones. Like we're not here to together go into our smartphones.
Kind of. I mean, it depends on the
I
situation.
want to say, but I can't. My personality is so like 소심해. So I just put it down and I kind of stare like I'm waiting
silently
to have
Passive.
true human connection here.
See, you might be passive. I'm aggressive. I'm like, 날 봐. Look at me.
Right.
Well, actually, we're going to get into our text topic right now. So what do you guys like to do when you are alone? Alone time. What do you do?
So typical.
What do you do?
It's so mundane, which is net thing.
Streaming
net thing because I'm
OTT,
into a specific series these days.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The it's number one on Netflix.
Oh, the
right
아저씨
now.
one?
Yeah, the Kim
Oh,
아저씨,
Ah.
Mr. Kim. Oh, it's
부장?
so fun. Yeah.
Oh, okay, my parents watch that.
Yeah.
Me,
That's
because
what
I
I
do
do.
live and work around so many people, I
Yes.
try to like curate and carve out my alone time, and I sent out, this is my run and read, TN.
Oh,
so
so
I will run
nice.
to a park and then wear like a picnic mat on my back with a book and buy a cup of coffee afterwards, and I'll just lie on the park and
Yes.
read.
So cute.
And take selfies of myself reading to
That is
show
like-
you guys. Yeah.
That's the life. I'm gonna do that.
I do that
soon.
once a week. Otherwise, I'm like scrolling. But I do
Catherine,
that.
what about you?
Oh, for
when
me,
you are alone,
when I am alone,
are you ever alone?
it's so rare. so rare. I don't even know when the last time I was like really alone. Like this past, like last week, roommate was on a business trip, and then my kids, lovely kids, they decided to surprise me like one at a time. And I was like, you don't have to come home, really.
Is it a surprise?
It was such a surprise, and I was like,
알아도 되는데.
yeah. So tell us more. I want to know more about like loneliness and
Yes.
Gen Z. What are they experiencing?
Right. So we usually think Gen Z is this most connected generation in history, right? They grew up with smartphones already, and they have Instagram, TikTok, and all these other applications that allow them to be connected to each other almost every hour of the day. But researchers are saying now that Gen Z may actually be the loneliest generation. One recent study in Britain found that about 1 in 3 young adults say they feel lonely at least some of the time, while another survey found that nearly 70% of Gen Z experience loneliness at least once a week.
Wow.
70%. That's almost more than 2/3. So despite having hundreds of online connections and all these notifications popping up on your smartphone, many young people are saying that they're feeling lonely.
And where do you think they turn to, or to whom do they turn to when they are lonely? And is it that?
It is that.
It is.
It is the infamous ChatGPT thing.
Okay.
Right. So there was a story that was covered by the BBC recently.
Yes.
About this 20-something-year-old man from Manchester. And they talked about how he, after graduating from school, he got his first full-time job, but he worked entirely at home. And he spent most of his days alone at his apartment. And so at the end, he said he admitted he kind of lost the ability to socialize and found it hard to connect with other people. And instead, he went to ChatGPT up to 8 times a day to have a normal conversation.
Wow.
And he admitted that because he just needed someone to talk to, right? And, his story kind of inspired a lot of documentary filmmakers to investigate whether this was happening to other young generation as well. And, they found out that Paisley, this man, was not unusual at all.
Yes.
In fact, many young adults say they are turning to AI whenever they feel lonely or they need someone to listen. So here's a question for you guys. Do you guys use AI when you're lonely, not for like information or like searching wise? And if so, did it take any time off of you from, per se, like you would have spent that time calling other people for advice? But now you're going to ChatGPT for advice.
For me, the short answer is no. I really only use the
like
AI,
the search
whatever,
engine?
the search engines or the AI chatbots, really for work. Or if I really, really have to, like I can't find the information on my own. And that's just me, though. I know people, like, they do, like, tarot readings and they get their unse and they have a full-on, like, conversation. And that's perfectly fine. I think, if you do it in healthy doses, that's your thing. But for me, it's like my schedule is jam-packed from like the moment I wake up till I go to bed at night.
You're not a lonely person. So
I don't
you
have
can't
the bandwidth
relate.
for ChatGPT. 근데 제가 너무 바빠요.
For me, also no. And then what I found interesting is because I do interact with Gen Zs as my students, and I will sometimes look at their phone because I need to add myself onto their messenger, like human-to-human messenger. These kids have 399 plus notifications that they're not reading. And I'm like, 아니, 이게 왜 이러는 거야?
You're the type of people you can't not stand the red
mine's
number.
always at a 0.
Zero?
Like, I gotta
Mine's
get that.
at 100.
I mean, my email is a whole different story, but the messenger, it's got to be at 0. So it's really interesting that they choose to, and it's a lot of the Gen Zs. Including my little sister, they choose to ignore these like mutual, reciprocal, human-to-human messages. But then they'll go to chatbots for conversations. I'm like, you have 399 conversations waiting to happen. I mean, granted, 200 of them are ads.
But I have a question, because since you brought us this story, why do you think Gen Z especially feels so lonely? Why? Because being alone and being lonely are two different things.
Right.
Like I said, jokingly, I always say, I want to be alone. I mean, no one wants to be lonely, right?
Right.
Yeah, but why do you think they feel so alone?
That is the question, because we can't. The story isn't really focused on AI. It's kind of the side effect of what's happening because the Gen Z are feeling lonely. The bigger question at the core is, why are they feeling so much loneliness when they're so super connected online? So experts say there isn't just one answer behind this. For many young adults, some of the most important years of their lives were completely disrupted by the COVID pandemic, right? Schools moved online, university classes were held through Zoom, and even first jobs where you kind of find your own first social circle outside of school were lost because people were working at home as well. So for the many Gen Z adults, they lost opportunities to simply socialize. And so that's one big reason. And another one that experts say is life has become just more expensive.
True.
So yes. So one recent survey found that more than 70% of young people have reduced how often they meet their friends because of rising prices.
Right.
So the biggest burden wasn't travel or like spending money on all the entertainment. It was something as simple as eating out. 너무 비싸. I don't want to spend money outside. I would just rather, meal kit at home, kind of thing. Meal kit, 이거 한국말이에요, 영어예요. Make myself
I think that's
a meal kit at home. Yes.
But even if like you do the inquiry that got M분, like divvying up, going Dutch, whatever you want to call it, it's still expensive.
It is
Everything
expensive.
has gone up, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So, dinner's expensive, coffee not so cheap anymore.
Right.
So a lot of people are staying home and thinking it's the easier and the more affordable choice of going through life.
Sure.
So have you guys noticed meeting friends are you guys meeting friends less? Because it feels like it's a little 좀 부담스러워 sometimes to eat out all the time. Or do you just kind of opt out for like 그냥 coffee 마시자. 그냥 let's just have coffee lightly.
Right, because the cost of going out is so much more than what it used to be.
Right.
And then I think as you get older, because once upon a time you could just get like tteokbokki and then chill, although tteokbokki is expensive.
Yes.
And then if you want to try like a fancier restaurant, you're like, did I just spend 100,000 won one night?
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for me also, 내가 쏠게, 내가 살게 이렇게 나와. You know, people saying like it's on me. It's that culture is kind of going away.
Right.
I think it's been in Korean culture to not allow like the youngster to pay whenever you're in a group. But when I'm with my 언니들 and I say, oh, let's just do 엠빵 or let's just do pay, you know, Dutch pay. I feel like less and less. Oh, 알았어.
Thank you.
리안이가 그렇게 하자면 해야지
yes.
뭐 kind of thing. Right. So, and here's another side effect of all these loneliness happening. It's loneliness isn't something that many young people are trying to hide. They're not embarrassed about it anymore. They're actually posting about it because it's getting a lot of views.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people are, connecting with that. So I'm sure, we have the TV series 나 혼자 산다, which is continuing to do very well. So that on SNS, basically. So a new trend on TikTok features videos with captions like, I have no friends, and this is how I'm going to spend my Friday night.
Yes.
And so these videos are so simple, these viral videos. It shows people, cooking at home, doing their skincare routine, watching, netting. And, people are just watching other people spending their Friday nights alone.
Yes.
And have you seen those? What I watched I felt so like weird for me was, all the 연애 program, the dating reality shows. There's like one single girls doing a review while watching the reality show. And I'm watching this girl reviewing the reality show.
watching them
and feeling like, 맞아. 막 혼잣말하고 막, 맞아. 나도 그때, 진짜 별로였는데.
Are you guys into those programs?
I'm really into dating programs. And then I always wish I could have a friend watch with me so we could always, talk together about like which guy would you pick.
That.
Yeah. It's all about the conversation. 근데 because I'm a...
It drains me. No, for me too.
Right.
Like,
No,
okay.
when they come
I'm
home,
an enthusiast.
No. There's nothing wrong with it. But when they come home, they're just like, Mom, we gotta watch this. And it's just like hours of watching other people's relationship. And I'm like,
너무 재밌지 않아요?
나가서 데이트 하세요.
Well, I think that's the thing.
더
You don't want
대리만족.
to. But then other people's dating lives are so much more interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're
Just
good
saying.
looking.
Okay,
so that's when I realized, am I a lonely person wanting to have conversation while watching this? Because I'm watching this girl talk about it. And I'm like, 맞아. 막 이러고 있어, 혼자서.
귀여워.
그래서 조금 다도 MMZ maybe a little bit. So all these videos aren't really about celebrating loneliness. They're about realizing that many other people kind of feel exactly the same way, and we're not all alone. Yes. So,
well, I want to get your final thoughts, Leon,
Yes.
because this is your platform. So, what say ye? What do you want to say?
So although, we're seeing these viral videos and we're seeing of people being lonely in a smart way, or we're seeing a lot of people go to ChatGPT to have their little social, I guess, circle in there. It's at the core of this phenomenon is the loneliness that the Gen Z are feeling, right? And the technology is going to continue to become smarter and better at really helping us feeling, I guess, less lonely. But I think the important question is, at the end, humans to humans relationship is quite important. And that's just my personal takeaway. So I feel like technology shouldn't take over too much of your
Can I eat into my time and comment on that?
Yes, of course.
I think, yes, you are having a conversation if you're talking to an AI chatbot, but that's one-sided. The thing about human conversation, and I think that's why Gen Zs maybe want to talk to chatbots, is because there's like a mutual thing. If you want to get advice, you also have to give advice and listen to other people's stuff.
Right.
And then I think young kids don't really want to do that. They're like, I just want to get my advice and get out. Like, I don't want to listen to your, rant about your boyfriend or watch your cat videos or like look at your baby's pictures. But I think that's, as you said, that is the thing about being human. And you're kind of pigeonholing yourself into an alone, lonely hole.
That is so true.
Well, thank you for giving us such great conversation, both of you, and for bringing the topic, Leon. But now we're going to turn to Haley. So what do you have for us?
So we're going to start with this sad news. So we all know 한강, the Nobel Literature Laureate. Her independent bookstore, 책방 오늘, closed up shop after 8 years.
Right.
So there was this final event, a book recital event at the bookstore in Tongidong in Jongno-gu district in Seoul. She said that it was a small miracle in and of itself that she was able to have this independent bookstore, especially in this economy, in this publishing market, for the past 8 years. They've held book clubs. I mean, she wasn't like a sole person running it. She's kind of on the board now. But there are book clubs, recitations, classes, exhibitions. And she said she's very thankful for the time that she's had with customers. Again, she stepped away from the business side of it, but still stayed on as an executive. And of course, it's been very popular ever since she won the Nobel Prize.
And so that is why I need to ask, why is the bookstore closing? Because I would think that it's like really popular now.
Shouldn't this be like a heritage site and preserve it? Real estate.
부동산.
종로구. 종로구's getting.
Exactly. So that building, the entire building's been sold. Because she does not own the building.
Okay.
So all the tenants have to leave under the new policy of whatever the owner's going to do with that building, the new owner. So Hangang said that she's been trying to find a new space for it, but because she's spending a lot of time overseas, she's going to have to hit pause for a bit, said hopefully she'll come back. But the thing is, it's not just this one bookstore.
Right.
Even the Nobel laureates bookstore is closing down. What about the rest of them, the entire publishing and the bookstore industry? So according to one real estate platform, that building was sold for 3.5 billion won in May. And it's not like one of the buildings we see in the background of our on our media wall. It's a small building. But business owners in the area do say that ever since the Nobel Literature Prize announcement, the bookstore became famous naturally, and that's led to a spike in property value.
And that is kind of ironic.
Oh, extremely
and the bookstore is
so.
now going away, even though the property is there.
So I do want to ask our waivers and you guys, have you guys had instances, this like heartbreaking moment of a small business that you loved, shut down, disappeared?
Oh, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Right here on our street, there used to be a taco place. I'm sorry.
Taco, I love tacos.
There was?
There was, and it was really good.
Yeah.
They had generous portions. And then, like, I kept on telling, like, my family, we have to frequent this place because we don't want it to disappear.
Yeah.
And then we went, like, on our monthly visit.
It was gone.
We're like, where'd it go?
Oh, I remember that place.
The
I remember.
Dos.
Yes.
It
was
place
so
was
good.
good.
A while ago.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was a while ago, but I
so
do remember.
filling.
I was like, so sad. I was like, where am I going to go now?
There was a bakery around the corner.
Yes.
Yeah. They used to sponsor us too.
Such a good one.
Yeah.
Same for me. I had a very small cafe run by these elders, 할머니, 할아버지, who lived in France for a little bit. And they had this like high quality taste of coffee and bread, like 빵. And it was there were always no customers there because there's like 2 chairs in the thing.
Maybe
in the
that's why I
cafe.
go.
근데 it was so good.
Did they sell scones?
Yes.
Is this on the corner of where you live?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that place.
You know that place. Of
course I know
And
that
they had a
place.
picture of Gordon Ramsay. They met Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
So I was always in love with this nice grandpa, but they were like, we're closing down. I was like, please tell me you're going somewhere else. And he's like,
retiring?
Yeah, 월세가 너무 세서 안 된다.
Yes. Okay. So, all of this up and down also applies to book sales as well, apparently.
Unfortunately so, because we as a country, as a whole, we're just not really reading.
Haley's reading.
I am. I'm trying to single-handedly keep the publishing industry afloat. No. I mean, yes, we did see a surge of sales after the Nobel Literature win, but that was a surge and then it went down. Very temporary.
Okay.
So overall, the Publishing Association data showed that their sales went down by 1.3%, profits by 13.4%. So experts are analyzing that, even like the 참고서 market, the academic textbook market is diminishing because we just have fewer and fewer students.
True.
With the decline in population. So unfortunately, this is especially true of like the 단행본, the singular book, like the fiction market, the non-fiction market. But interestingly, we are seeing a huge increase in the comics webtoon market as that's been expanding overseas.
Yes.
Bookstores too. Even the larger retail bookstores are not doing great. But then if you look at the smaller independent bookstores, kind of abysmal almost. I mean, I know that like reading is hip and that Seoul International Book Fair, amazingly popular. But if you go there, people are buying merchandise and less books. So it's
Just
more
the merch?
merch and taking
굿즈 사러
pictures.
가는 거지.
Right. So, and here's the thing though. These smaller communities, their smaller bookstores are important because they form their communities.
Oh, yes.
And do you have a favorite bookstore, even like during your college days? Because in
of
Seattle,
course.
there was a secondhand bookstore that had cats. And it was great.
So
It was so
Aw.
cute. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. Do you have any good memories about bookstores, favorite bookstores?
I have one that I got in contact with last year in Gwangalli. They have a lot of independent bookstores
They
there.
do.
And you know, I don't go to these independent bookstores often, but I liked what they were doing, which was they were selling vegan food, and then they were having book clubs, as well as, you know, curated books by the owner.
Right.
And she was like very vocal about the types of books that she wanted to be displayed there, and her book club sound amazing. So I thought, you know, this bookstores nowadays need to survive. They need to have a lot of things happening, like experience-wise as well, instead of just books.
Yes.
Because that place is quite popular, that I know.
Okay, so tell us more.
Right. So, and I think exactly to what Leanne said, the draw of these independent bookstores is that they're
Yes.
themed. You know was it film? Is it She?
Her?
She, like Nottingham. That's a song. Hold on.
Notting Hill?
Notting Hill. Thank
Yes.
you. Notting Hill.
I was like-
I'm like almost there, but not quite. Hugh Grant's
Yes.
character, he
Yes.
owns like a travel-themed bookstore. And there's like a whole scene where someone comes in and it's like, do you have this incredibly, like the Da Vinci Code? And it's like, well, we are a travel bookstore. It's like, well, it's about overseas. And I think that's kind of the struggle about these independent bookstores that, you know, you kind of have to have this like niche market to attract customers, but then they do come in looking for the latest, you know, Nobel Prize winner or the big bestseller.
Yes.
And you're
Right.
like, oh, we don't have that. But then if you do find that niche, it's an absolute community. And you find really interesting picks and you find really interesting people for talks. So they have a role in establishing this community for readers. And that could absolutely be a source of revenue because at the end of the day, it is a business after all.
Sure.
So when done well, these bookstores could become landmarks and tourist attractions in and of themselves. So for example, we recently have in Busan, the large bookstore that recently opened up at the Busan International Finance Building that's garnered some traffic online is real pretty.
Oh, really?
It's
Is it like
really
the one
pretty.
in Seoul, the 별빛?
Not quite as big, but
도서관.
it's kind of has like this, like these really beautiful like wooden arches. And if you go there, I think they're trying to like revamp itself as like a cultural center.
Nice.
So that's garnered some online traffic.
Okay.
And then, you know, when you go overseas, like they're really beautiful. The 별빛, the Starlight Library in Seoul, that's also a huge tourist attraction. I think Dua Lipa recently opened up a bookstore or like a library in Portugal.
really?
Yeah. I mean, she also has a fantastic book club. That girl knows how to use her fame for books.
Wow.
Role model. In any case, recently I went to an outdoor reading book event in Millak Waterfront Park. That was just like
Oh, yeah,
really
you mentioned that.
Yeah, and then I
Do you
took
get to
some
meet
pictures. I went with our producer. So that answers.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, the two single girls went by themselves and came back single. So.
I always I always ask like, so did you meet anyone?
we met up. We met
No,
up. The
that's
same
not
people
good.
who see each other
You
Monday
meet
through
up
Friday.
and then you separate when you guys see something.
그러니까 그러게.
각자의 길을 가자.
So yeah, and I mean, here's the thing though. I mean, they need to be sustained with support from the public, but also public funding. Because, you know, they are not money makers. And to be fair, the Culture Ministry and the Interior Ministry, they have made changes. And I like this. When schools and libraries buy books, as they do, they try to do so via local bookstores and local book cooperatives. So to try to turn that into a more sustainable aspect of it. But again, even so, going back to full circle, that the fact that Hangang, like the Hangang, her bookstore had to close down due to real estate, that is such a big statement about gentrification.
Right. And the fact that once again, that place and the value of that property went up because of her, but she's having to close down.
Right.
Is just a little too much. So,
Exactly.
What's your takeaway?
So I'm going to, because we're talking about books, I'm going to
Yes.
talk about this literary device, irony. Right? It is ironic that Hangang's profile and the Nobel Prize boost gave this neighborhood increased traffic, became hip, thereby increased the property value. The building sold, and now they're leaving. But then this isn't the only case. Gentrification, it comes from like the landed gentry, England. So
Yes.
like everything that's happened before it, something like a unique personality of a neighborhood, Hongdae, right? Like 경리단길, 점포. They become not profitable once more people come in because artists don't make a lot of money for real estate developers, unfortunately. Not enough for the new proprietor.
Yes.
So again, Hongdae, 경리단길, 점포, etc. The small, unique businesses that gave rise to that neighborhood as
Right.
it being the it neighborhood, they get pushed out really sadly due to higher rent. And then years later, we complain that, you know how you've noticed like all the neighborhoods look the same?
Yes.
Like there are the gacha, like the claw machine places,
Yes,
the
right.
the 인생 that got the various
너무
photo
많아, too
places.
many.
Yes.
Right.
And then the coffee shops.
Right.
Because they all make money, right? It's all those three, the top three that makes the most money.
Yeah.
Photo booths, franchise, and the
And the
뭐야?
claw
Gacha,
machines.
gacha.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, wait a minute, like why did I come all the way here? I could have done that in like 서면.
Like a place that pops up to mind, like 해리단길 used to be so cute and quaint.
Yeah, quaint.
But as you mentioned, every other store is now a photo booth. I get it. You all love taking your photos and love yourself. But
do
really,
you?
I don't know.
That much?
Do we need like 100 different themes to take our own
Exactly.
photos
You look
of
up, you look
ourselves?
down, you look sideways.
Elevator and then the pony. I don't know.
And I mean, I get it. It's a whole real estate thing because these buildings and they don't stay empty and it's like an unmanned place. So that's a
Right.
whole different economic choice. But it shows how, cultural spaces are really vulnerable in urban settings. But at the same time, they're really precious in creating that character. And that's what we want to keep and safeguard.
Right. Even our producer is saying she really likes F1963. That space is so amazing for me.
Me too.
I can't stop thinking about, for some reason, like Tomoan has like a special place in my heart. I've only been there like 3 times, but every time I go, maybe because I went on like a beautiful spring day, a beautiful fall day. It could have something to do with the weather. But every time I go and I come back, and it's a little hike, like tiny little walk up there.
There's a slope.
There's a little slope, but it's just like it's so like pleasant being around like people. You can enjoy some coffee, enjoy what they have.
It's the thing. It's like a
Right.
historical space that they didn't pave and build an apartment over, and that's why we get to enjoy it.
Exactly.
Right. Well, today we covered things like Gen Z being lonely, or just people in general, and why they're turning to sometimes AI chatbots, and also about what Haley brought us as well. And the irony is like so strong about Hanggang. So thank you, lovely ladies, once again for the stories, for your opinions, and of course, wishing you a beautiful 초복 today. Are you guys going to have samgyetang?
I'm
Be
gonna have some
honest.
chicken.
I have chicken.
I have a 초복 meal kit at
Oh,
home.
밀키트 좋아요.
좋을
좋아요.
거예요.
All right, we're going to call it a wrap for today. This was Food for Thought. It's time to wrap up our entire morning, actually, on this Wednesday. Oh, and this is a lovely song, She by Elvis Costello, to take us out. Wishing you a beautiful hump day. Bye, everybody.
She may be the face I can't forget, a trace of pleasure or regret, maybe my treasure or the price I have to pay. She may be the song the summer sings, maybe the chill the autumn brings, maybe 100 different things within the measure of a day. She may be the beauty or the beast, maybe the famine or the feast, may turn each day into a heaven or a hell. She may be the mirror of my dreams, a smile reflected in a stream. She
She may not be what she may seem inside her shell. Seems so happy in a crowd whose eyes can be so private and so proud. No one's allowed to see them when they cry. She may be the love that cannot hope to last, may come to me from shadows of the past that I remember till the day I die. She may be the reason I survive.